This is Justin AMZN for Thursday, October 3rd, 2019. Looking at a big sell-off today that seemed to give us some exhaustion, bearish volume, and then we rallied back up into the 21, into yesterday's lows, rolled over, and this ended up being somewhat of like a double bottom, but the lows in here came right back down. Let's see, the low exactly was 1693.57, and the high of this hammer was 1693.84. 84, 57, almost back down. No, wait, this was lower, right? 57, 83. Yeah. So this, okay, this candle came just low enough to be in the range of this hammer. Okay. This is a place you could have been buying if you recognized in the moment, hey, it's not rolling over anymore, and just bought right here. I'll show you the options, what that did. And then once we got up here and threw in a couple upper wicks, it's like, oh, this is a great place for it to roll over again. A lot of people are selling here. Here's another opportunity to sell here. And it worked. It just was short-lived and basically made a retest of a neckline right here. And the rest of the day was bullish. And actually, we got directionally bullish. We were moving up, paused a little bit right at 1714.50, and then continued up and just kind of chopped up until we had some indecision into the close, and then broke out in the last 10 minutes of the day. Yeah, just some consolidation right here. The squeeze came in, and after hours of squeeze showed that it fired, but it looked like it was pretty much starting to fire. Yeah, well, not starting to fire, but the momentum was shifting, that it looked like it was about to go bullish on the momentum. So we'll see if that continues into Friday and we get a little more bullishness. We actually ended the day as a bullish hammer. Another good hammer. This range was about 40 bucks. Let's see, the open and the close. Let's see, about 11 to 12. So a little bit more of a lower wick. Sorry, a little more than double the lower wick is in the body, but that's all right. It still looks like a hammer. Looks like a better hammer than this one, actually, just because of I think where the body actually fills up the range. Pretty much holding right at the 1714.50 price, and then almost getting up into our 1727.80 price. So we could definitely see some more bullishness come in tomorrow, a bit more of a rally. We do have this increasing volume where we've got some lower highs and lower lows. We did make a lower high and lower low, and got, let's see, the low today, 1685.06, just about 20 bucks away from this level. We didn't get there here. So if we don't get there again, that's okay. And then basically this whole thing turns into a really big channel. And we're at the lower end of that kind of a channel. And the upper end, or I should say at least a middle point of that, would probably be up around 1850. And then the upper part of that would be back up around 2050 or 2025. And we have the potential that we've got the potential to get back up into this range here too. That's if we rally hard out of this. So it's been a little while. Let me do this right now on the daily. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'll move this down, and we're already past that. Is that the right one? That was the right one. Oh, I didn't have that in there already. Now it would have been great to be buying there and then seeing that crush through. I mean, we already knew we were going bearish, but cool. All right. Well, if we don't continue down further, we can rally into the 21. We've got some targets going a little bit more bullish. We got earnings ahead later this month. We'll see if we can get back up. I don't think we'll get to 1850 or let's see, 1841.30. I don't think we would do that by the 10th. I don't think it would rally that strongly, but who knows? Maybe it could. Obviously, it's not hitting this target today. So yeah, that would be the next one. That would be the next one, bullish, but it hasn't really hit any of these going bullish in a while. The last ones were up in here and it popped above them, came back down. So we really haven't gotten into these uptrend lines. So it may be time to revisit these uptrend lines a little more. It worked over here. Maybe there's a different angle that was working. Right now, the best thing that's working is just some sideways lines. And really, you can just draw some lines from the last low down here to where we're at now and see, okay, we're in this range. We could be bouncing here. It's an okay place to bounce. And see if we can get a little more bullishness like we got here coming back in, at least to retrace up a little bit into some of these bearish candles. I mean, if we get back into the 21, we'll be right back up at these nearly shaved, upper shaved top candles and see if we can hold some resistance there and roll back down. But from here to there, that's another, $40 higher. So maybe, 30 to $40 higher to get up there. So we'll see if we do something like that. But let's go back and look at today. Having a high wave candle right at the open, breaking down, making a lower low, retesting into this price, and then making an inside candle. This is a great setup to continue bearish, looking for this to kind of roll over like a bigger S curve. And you could have been in already on this retest, on the next candle. Looking at puts, that would have been getting in probably like 8x7 here. Pulled back to 730, then it was inside candle, inside right at $8. So just get in 8x7. Your stop is below the lows from the open. You got a really nice entry at 8, and then it just flew. I mean, it doubled in 5 minutes, and then got all the way up, from 8 all the way to maybe 20, up here. If you could have exited up there, if you're watching it, if you had a target set, you probably did like get in at 8 with a stop at 7, maybe look for 11, and you probably got a really good fill at like 15 because it just ran. You can see the same thing on the calls. We just gapped back down through this whole range. I mean, it didn't even have time to fill any prices or to fill any of the fill any the values in this range. It just got below there. So there was somebody buying here and maybe somebody buying here and a few more up here, but who knows where exactly in between. I mean, we can always go look at a tick chart or a 1 minute chart and see where all the buys actually were buying and selling were. But anyway, it was one of those that it was almost like a flash crash sort of move. This is really quick. And then what was crazy is it recovered like an hour and a half later, right? Let's see, what time is this? 9 o'clock. By 10:15, within an hour and a half, we were right back up at this price. And that was somewhat concerning for the bearish perspective, because this kind of big candle, we shouldn't be back at this level yet. So I was, cautiously eyeing this kind of a rollover here. And, like I said, it just didn't work out. If we look back at, if we look at this area, this was 10:20, 10:15. That would have been getting in, again, 8x7. Let's see, maybe not 7. Probably getting in like 750 by 650, because it would have pulled back into that range, hovering in there. You get this candle, it's like, okay, it's in the range 7 to 775. See if you can get filled at 750, stop at 650, and then just flip it out. 750 moved all the way up to 950, right? Yeah, so that would have worked for 2R. So 2R there on the way back up, and then, on the way back down for this kind of a retracement. Looking for a rollover, high wave candle, exit on the next candle, or exit on this candle. That would have been exiting at 10:35. So you're either in at 10:20 or 10:25. You're out at 10:35. That's a quick trade to 2R, and you're out. And if you waited, you probably exited at like 8, maybe one of those panic sells if you're watching it, or you got a okay fill at like 859, something like that in this candle. If you just lowered your target a little bit. So there's a potential to get a lot of R's over here if you had the target set, or if you hadn't set a target yet. So depending on your broker, or depending on how you've got it set up, if you just set up a trade to get in without a target, without a stop, or if you just do a stop when you first set it up and not a target, I mean, you could have exited anywhere up in here. If you did that here, you would have had to probably get out, probably not for 2R, probably for a little bit less is my guess, just being reactive to this. And this one way more than 2R. Hopefully you didn't hold through all that. But even if you did, I mean, you're in at 8 and you could have waited and gotten out at 10 if you wanted to hold through all that. But, anyway, that was about it for the bearishness. We didn't really roll back down anywhere else. Oh, and all of this was on the 1700 put. Now, if we look at the 1700 call, this is where I was saying we got right back into the range in this candle, which is great because this candle itself was like a $2 risk kind of candle. But over here, had you gotten in 10 by 9, like that setup, it's below the wicks over here, getting in at 10, and you could have just ridden that up all day. Very similar to the move in the puts. It went from 10 all the way up to 20 something. Actually, it really went from 8 all the way to 20 something. But it gave you a lot of opportunities to just ride this up bullish. Going from 10 back up to this level, or even up to this level if you had held for a while longer, give you some clear places to move up your stop, like at 11, and then at 12, and then at 13, and then you held there for a little while before you went to 14, 14, and then 15. You could have just trailed it by $1 at a time. And, let's say you did that all day long. If you moved it $1 every probably half hour or something, or at least waited for a new low like this before moving it up $1. So if you had your stop down here at 9, after this candle, you probably moved it up to like 11. And then after this candle, you probably moved it up to 12. And after this, probably after this one, you moved it up to 13. And then this, you moved it up to 15. And then after this, you moved it up to 17. And then after this, you moved it up to 19. And then all the way over here, you moved it up to 20. And then it didn't make a low. Well, no, it made this low. You probably came up to 21. And then it drifted back down. So maybe if you just trailed like that, all day long, you went from 8 to getting stopped out at 21 for a nice 11R gain. You missed the highs. That's all right. You don't know exactly where the high is going to end up. Actually, you missed that high, but if your stop was a little lower, you probably were exiting by the end of the day. Maybe right back here at 25, just like this hit 25 right here. Like I said, if you did all that, that would have been watching the trade. You could have been updating your setup all day long. That totally works. It worked in this case, and it showed just a really nice rally. Had the double bottom here with a neckline retracement. This is kind of a bigger, it's kind of triangle. I mean, you got the higher lows, you got some relative highs. It breaks out. Here's your S curve right here, back into our level. This is the other place you could have been buying, right in here at 12.15, 12.20. You probably wouldn't have been doing it with the 1700. You would have wanted to be in the 1700 from earlier. So if we look at 1725 and see what value we could have had. Let's see, at 12.15, that would have been getting in at like 5. There you go. Get in at 5, flip it out at 7, 2R. Done. Totally works. And then over here again, as it consolidates, comes down here, it's another S curve. Didn't know it was going to pop. But if you were looking for something to just get in and have a swing, or just get in this consolidation, 550 by 450, and it actually hit 750 right into the close. Now, don't know if that would have actually worked out, but or if you would have been actually setting that up so close to the end of the day, or just looking to scalp. Probably looking to scalp. If you're already up in the day, looking to scalp another R, getting in 550 by 450, just getting out at 650. If it moved in that direction, otherwise you would have been ready to lose an R if it rolled back down a little bit more. But like I said, that would have worked. We also had a really nice uptrend in here today. So if you sketch this, it works pretty well. Let's see. Buying here, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling, close. Buying, selling, buying, not getting up there. So a lot of places you could have bought and sold all along the day. Let's see. Less than 2, so 2 by 1. 250 by 150, 3 by 2, no, 350 by 250, 5 by 4, 6 by 5. Yeah, so a number of places to get in, about $1 apart from each other. Really easy to have the dollar risk to reward, and just look for a 2R gain, or no, an R gain, right? So we bought the 2, get out at 350, maybe 4. So this one was getting in at like 250 and it went up to 450. So that would have been 2R. So yeah, there were some setups where you could have got an R to 2Rs through this uptrend, but it just wasn't super clean, and it was really steep here. You had some bigger moves. Yeah, all retracing this move down. So where we're at now, we're kind of at a bigger inverted head and shoulders. If you look at this as a shoulder, this is a head, and this, I guess, would have to be the other shoulder. It's just it's not pulling back as far, and it doesn't have to. This is one of those kind of flatter shoulders. I mean, this was a flat shoulder too, but it's got some range to it. It dips down, especially from way up here. If we count this as our neckline, we didn't quite make it up that high here. It's harder to say this is the neckline and then call this the shoulder. It's a little bit more like you have an angle. So if we can break out and then retest, or if we can get above 1727.80 and then come back down to it, that's a great place to buy for inverted head and shoulders. And then if our neckline is up here at like 1722, and this low is, let's just say 1725 down to 1685, there's your $40 move from 1725 all the way up to 1765. That would agree with pretty much where this is coming down from. In a few days that would be kind of a measured move of this being an inverted head and shoulders. The 5 minute, that kind of picture. Let's see. We are retracing right back up to another channel here. So I'm going to draw this channel. I don't know. It's just harder to connect all these. It's getting harder to connect all these. Things are shifting. It doesn't have to stay in this kind of a trend. So just trying to see how this might fit. Get poked through there, got some highs, catch some lows. There, at least we got all the ranges. So down, chopped, up, chopped, down, down, up, down. Here we're almost back up to the top of it. So we had a pretty good. I mean, even if I pull this down a little bit more, we're already there. So that's what's interesting is what we retraced today from the low to the high is pretty much the same retracements we've had here and here. I mean, we made a little further here, but this one we started a little lower. So this downtrend channel really needs to break bullish, and then we'll still probably pull back to it. But we've been in this downtrend for a number of days since the 23rd. So since kind of late September. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. If we break out of this, something's shifting, something's definitely changing, you know. So I'm gonna leave this on here and see if we kind of come back into this. This is not a super clean range. I'm just showing what levels, you know, it's pivoted at on the downtrend here, and we'll just see. Okay, are we going to continue to move up here? Are we going to roll back down here? Could we really come down to 1665? You know, in a couple more days and continue this? Sure, it could totally roll over from here. I don't know if it's going to. If we get a gap down below some of the levels up here today, that's going to trap a lot of bulls. You know, if we can gap down here, it's going to trap a lot of these bulls in here. You see all the volume that came in after this, even all these volume spikes after this pivot. So that would trap some folks, but you got to be in a shorter time frame to really see what's going on. Or we could break out and trap any more bears on our way back up, especially some of these over here that were shorting right at the open, and saw the continuation today. So this is the kind of move today that I thought we were going to have yesterday. After we got here, did this, I thought we were going to break down. So really, what's interesting is we had a very similar consolidation right here underneath 1714.50, broke down just to go sideways all day, and then up. And today we came right into the same level, you know, retesting 1714.50, and then having a quick rollover and just a grind back up, you know. So this is what I was anticipating yesterday, and I thought it would push a little lower too. So didn't happen, but it happened the next day. So I was early, but early is also long. So went through the calls, went through the puts, looked at the daily. Hope this helps. Be back soon with another video showing how things are moving along. This is just AMZN. Thanks.